And welcome to all my crafting friends out there. Hello to all the OGs and the newbies. Thank you for joining me for this craft today. Today's craft is a doozy. It is so darling. I can't wait to show you guys. Check this out. It's a little hop centerpiece. Isn't this so cute, you guys? And it's so easy, so cute, and guess what? That's right, Dollar Tree supplies. I'm so excited to tell you, I'm stumbling already. It's so cute, you guys. This is a Dollar Tree supply craft, and it is just so stinking cute. You guys, if you can do a glue gun and if you can paint, this craft is for you. I'm telling you, it's super easy, super cute, and super affordable. So let's quickly go over the supply list. This is the supplies you're gonna wanna pick up. First off, you're gonna of course need 3 wood boxes. I got mine from the Dollar Tree. They are a stack set, and I chose to use the middle box, which is about 4 3/4. The other sizes I think are a 5 and a 3, so look out for those. But these are the ones that I chose. You can obviously do the 3 and you can obviously use the 5 or mix and match. It's completely up to you. You don't have to do this craft exactly like I did. You can obviously make it your own, but I chose to do the 4 3/4 wood boxes. You're also going to need a couple of wood crates, and or if you have just a couple of pieces of wood lying around, that would be helpful. The second 2 boxes are basically a support system, and it'll make sense to you later on, but it'll help when we're gluing the wood beads on. So it just kind of helps prop things up. You're also going to need 3 of the metal leaves, Decor. We're just really basically needing the bases, and they come in 3 different colors. The colors really don't matter. I think they come in gold, silver, and a white tone, but you just need 3 of those. It doesn't, again, but the color doesn't matter because you can paint them any color you want. You're also gonna need a package of the magnetic alphabet. And you guys, I hadn't seen this product in Dollar Tree before, and this was a surprise to me. So I grabbed the set that was the 3-inch. But you guys do not have to use the magnetic set. You can obviously use wood letters for your hop. You could cut letters out of felt or paper even. You don't have to use the magnetic letters, but I thought that they look pretty neat and I wanted to try them. So, but if you want to do the magnetic letters, they're not magnetic on the product. We're just gluing them to the wood boxes. I just like the look of them because they give a little bit of a texture. You're also going to need some paint. The paint that I chose was the Waverly chalk paint in Snow White. I also did the pink and the FolkArt baby pink, the FolkArt lemonade, and the apple barrel Key West. And all 3, or I should say all 4 of those colors are in a matte finish. But you guys, again, make it your own. You don't have to do matte finish. You don't have to do those particular colors. You can make them all white if you wish. It's completely up to you. You're also going to need 3 puffy white balls. You can make your own out of yarn if you wish. I know Dollar Tree right now at Easter is selling packets of the white fluffy tails in a couple of different sizes, but I think these are the 2-inch. So that's the size that I went with, but you guys can make it any which way you want. You're gonna need 1 package of the wired jute cord, at least 7.5 feet long, that we're gonna cut into 3 sections. You're gonna need some wood skewers, so go grab yourself a packet of the wood skewers. You also need a little bit of twine. It's completely optional. You don't need the twine, but it kind of adds like a nice little finish around the wood beads, and it makes a cute little bow at the base. You will also need some cups to do your painting of your beads, a rotary cutter. You also, oh, you guys, this was one thing I did not pick up from Dollar Tree. I chose to go with the Hobby Lobby, the 6-inch wide burlap roll. It's a looser weave than Dollar Tree's, and I kind of like that look. Dollar Tree's burlap was a little bit tighter weave, but I like the looser weave that Hobby Lobby's had. Also, with it being 6 inches wide, then it makes it a little bit easier to make your burlap accents, which again will make sense later. going to need a couple of tools. You're going to need some needle nose pliers, some sharp scissors, some pointy scissors, some wire cutters, a rotary cutter, a ruler, and of course a glue gun. Also not in the photo, you will also need a drill with a 1/8 inch drill bit. I went ahead and pre-drilled my boxes, but it's basically just drilling one hole in the bottom of each of the 3 4¼ inch boxes. So, and I'll go over that step real quick, but that is not in the photo, but you will need a power drill with a 1/8 drill bit. Woo, let's go. Let's get going. Our very first step that we want to do is go ahead and grab your metal leaves, and what you're going to do is you're going to separate the metal leaf part from the stick. So all we need is the stick and the base. We don't necessarily need this piece right here. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your pliers, and you're just going to carefully kind of pry your leaf from the stick, and you just kind of take your time and just kind of work your leaf off the stick, and you kind of just basically roll the metal right off. And I've noticed that some are a little bit easier to take apart than others, so just take your time and just kind of roll the leaf right off. You're just separating the leaf part from the base. Just take your time. And sometimes it's better just to kind of work up from the bottom, and then it comes right apart. And then keep this for a later project. So then what you're left with is your base and the stem, and you're gonna need to do that to all 3. So you're gonna need 3 that look just like that. And see, I've got a couple in a silver and I got one gold. It doesn't matter on color because I'm gonna paint them here in a little bit. But that's basically what you need to do, is just separate the leaf from the stem. The second step is then go ahead and drill just a single hole in the bottom of each of your 3 boxes. Just the 3 square boxes. You don't have to do it to the other 2 boxes. Just 3 that you're gonna actually make into the hop sign. So I'll show you how to find center if you don't know already. It's pretty simple. Just go ahead and you don't even really need a ruler for this particular part. You just need a straight edge, but I'm just using a ruler here. But you just go from corner to opposite corner, and you put your straight edge right there. So you got to go from corner to opposite corner, and you just make a mark right in the middle, and then you go from this corner to this corner, and you line that up, and you make a mark, and then right where all of those connect is your center, and that is where you drill. And then you just go ahead and drill a hole in all 3 boxes, just like that. All right, now is the fun part. All right, now step 3, we're gonna go ahead and paint all of our boxes. And it's pretty helpful to have these parchment sheets that I got from Dollar Tree also. It comes in a pack, and they're already pre-cut, and these are really handy to use. So I'm gonna lay down a couple. And again, you guys can make these boxes any color you want. If you just wanted to leave them white, if you wanted to leave them natural, however, whatever you would like to do. But I'm gonna go ahead and do a layered effect, and it's a really cool paint technique. But if you only wanted to do one color, if you wanted to do white, then you would just paint your boxes white. But we're gonna do a layered technique. I'm gonna start out with yellow first because it's the lightest color. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour a little bit on my parchment. This one's getting a little bit low. And I'm gonna do this technique to all 3 of my boxes. So I'm gonna set them down. And you're gonna wanna do this to the front and all the sides except for the bottom. You don't have to paint the bottom box. You can absolutely paint the bottom side of your boxes but no one's really gonna see it, and it also helps to keep that one dry and just hold it there so you don't get paint. Oh, you don't get paint on your hands. Well, here we go already. So I'm a messy baby, I can't help it. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take a wood block, and this is just any old block. It's nothing special about this wood block. It's just, and to be honest, I'm not really sure where I got this from, but I know Dollar Tree sells wood blocks. All you need, I think they're called tumbling blocks from Dollar Tree. You can use a scrap piece of wood, any kind of block. And what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna take your block and you're going to dab it. You're gonna basically paint your box with the block of wood. It's kind of a really cool technique that adds a really neat texture. And the idea is to not completely cover the wood with the paint. So you're just gonna paint sections of each box with your block of wood. So you're just gonna dip it down in your paint, kind of dab off a little bit, and then you're going to just kind of just scrape down. Can you guys see that? You're just basically scraping the paint with the flat side of your block, and you're just going to just keep dabbing and then scraping the paint onto your block, onto your box, and you'll have something that looks like that. Can you guys see that? And see how it's leaving just kind of these patterns. It's not completely covering the wood, and that's what you want. So you're going to do it to the sides. You're going to do it to the top. See how it just kind of leaves this kind of weathered look to it. And then you're going to want to do it to this side. And again, you can do the bottom if you want, but it's not necessary. And this is where you can really have fun with it. You can just decide if you want it to be a lot of one color or a little bit of one color. My yellow is kind of pale, so I'm going to use a little bit more than the other two colors. And see how it's not fully covering the box. It's just kind of making these really cool textures. So we're going to set that one to the side. And then I'm going to do the next box. And again, you just kind of dab it in. And then just kind of, and you can go flat ways, but you can also turn your block and go this way too if you want to make it narrow. See how this one kind of makes like a more narrow pattern. So if you wanted to just do something like that, you absolutely could. And just kind of just paint your box however which way you want. Need a little bit more paint. And dab in there. And you don't want the layers to be too terribly thick because you want them to be able to dry. But if you have a hair dryer or a heat gun, feel free to break that out and kind of help the process a little bit. And then that box is done. See how it's kind of just scraped onto there, and I've got bare spots and then I've got painted sections. And that's the look you're going for. You don't want the paint to be runny and you don't want it to be globby. You just kind of want just the paint to just kind of scrape on. And then I'll do the third box. Really easy, guys. Super, super easy. Don't overthink it. Just real quick. It's super easy. And you can, they don't have to match. You don't worry about trying to make them match, because remember, you're going to have the burlap on the front and you're going to have your letters on there too. So don't worry about if, oh, I got more yellow on this one and not enough on this one. It really, it's going to be fine, guys. You don't have to overthink it. Easy peasy. And again, remember, you're going to have a design right in the middle, so maybe concentrate a little bit more around the edges than right in the center. But super easy, super fun. and it makes this really neat little technique. So now that our first color is on, go ahead and let your paint dry. And like I said, if you have a hair dryer or a heat gun, go ahead and get those dry, and we'll do the next color. Now, if you got your first color on all 3 boxes and it's dry or mostly dry, let's go ahead and do the second color. And the second color, I'm going to do the baby pink and put a little bit on my parchment. And again, you're going to take your block, and I went ahead and wiped down the block, the painting tool, so there wasn't any globs of paint on there. So now what I'm going to do is dip my block into the pink paint, and I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did with the yellow, and I'm just going to dab it onto your block, and then just scrape down onto the front of your box. And you'll get this really cool layered technique. Isn't that cool? And you can just play with the placement. Just really, really cool, guys. Look how cool that is. It just looks like it's been sitting out in the weather. It's just really, really neat. Don't forget your sides. And you want to do all the tops and both sides. And again, you guys get to decide how much of each color you're going to use. So if you want to do a lot of pink, or a little pink, or a lot of yellow, or none at all, if you only want to do 2 colors or 1 color, it's completely up to you. Just my suggestion is to not really glob the paint on, because it can look kind of runny. So these layers are pretty thin. And just kind of play around. And there's even, I'm leaving a little bit of bare wood too, so you really don't have to cover the entire thing. You're just kind of putting it here and there. So I like that placement. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more paint to my parchment, and I'm going to do my other 2 boxes. Looking pretty neat, guys. Easy peasy, you guys. Super easy. Told you could do it. This technique is super fun. And if you got all of your second layer on, then go ahead and get those dry, and we'll do the third. Now you got your second color on your 3 boxes and they're dry, then go ahead and add your third color to your boxes, just like you did with the other 2 colors. And I'm gonna do the teal color as my third color. The exact same technique. You're just scraping it on. And this is a pretty vibrant color, so I'm gonna do just the bare minimum. See how I'm just gonna do just a little bit of the blue. Don't forget the tops. Isn't this cool, guys? Just this really cool technique. I really love how this looks. Doesn't it look like spring? My goodness, so colorful. Now once you get all 3 of your colors on, go ahead and dry them, and we'll put the final coat on. now that you have all three colors on each of your three boxes and they're pretty much dry, if your box is a little bit cool to the touch, that's okay, but you want to make sure that your paint's pretty much dry. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add our fourth and final coat, and I'm going to use the Waverly chalk paint in Snow White. We're going to do the same exact thing with the white as we did with the other three colors. Just make sure that you clean off your painting block and or do a fresh side. You want to dip it in the white. We're going to do the exact same thing with the white as we did with the other three colors. And just put it right over the top. And again, you guys get to decide how much of each color is showing or how much white we're going to use. And isn't that neat, guys? Isn't that the coolest? Just really, really neat. Don't forget your sides. Just really, really cool. I really like this technique. Just really cool. Again, you don't want to put a lot of paint on. You don't want to glob the paint on. You just want this peekaboo kind of effect. Just really neat. You're going to want to do that to all three boxes. Just take your time. But this is just a really, really neat, fun process. And once you got your fourth and final coat on all three boxes, then go ahead and set these aside and let them dry. Now, while we wait for our boxes to dry, we're going to go ahead and move on to step 4, and we're going to paint our bases and we're going to paint our letters. So go ahead and just whatever color you want to paint your bases and your letters, now's the time to do that. And I'm going to use the Key West, the teal color. The bases are going to take a couple of coats. I would do some thinner coats, 1 to 2 coats for the bases. You only need to paint really the base part. You don't necessarily need to paint the stem part. With the magnetic letters, if you choose to do the magnetic letters, the paint doesn't want to stick to this very well, so I would recommend a single thick coat on the magnetic letters. So then go ahead and just take your paintbrush and start painting your bases. Like I said, the bases will take a couple of coats, thinner coats, and the letters will take a thicker coat. And I'm not brushing terribly hard. I'm just kind of brushing right across the surface. I'm trying not to leave brush strokes, so just softer brush strokes. And you want to coat the entire base and then let each one dry and then do a second coat. You're more than welcome to spray paint these as well. But I wanted to do this particular color for my bases, so I'm just using acrylic paint. Just smoothing out the brush strokes with just gentle movements, just like that. And then I'm going to let this base dry. I'm gonna move on to the next one. Just get the paint on, then you can go back and gently smooth it out. Again, you don't want to glob the paint on. You want it to just be a smooth coat. And try not to leave brush strokes. Nice and gentle. I'm just holding my brush with 2 fingers and just kind of gently, just kind of brushing it across the surface of the base. You don't want to overwork the paint because you'll end up getting the paint to dry kind of clumpy. So you just want to kind of get it on and just smooth it out as best as you can and then let it dry. Now we'll move on and we'll put a decent coat on top of the magnetic letters. And again, you just want a real soft, gentle motion. You don't want to press real hard because the paint will want to come up with your brush. So you're just going to kind of just lay it down across the surface of magnetic letter. And you want to be kind of generous. And again, you can absolutely spray the letters with spray paint if you wish. And then go ahead and move your letter to a clean part of your parchment so it doesn't dry too badly to the parchment. And then move on to your next letter. And again, this is a pretty thick coat that's on the letters. Barely touching the letter. Just brushing it ever so gently right across the surface. If you put too much pressure on it, you'll pull your paint up. You just want it almost like you're just letting gravity do all the work. And again, you'll want to move that to a fresh part of your parchment. Just a real flat movement. Very gentle, very flat. And again, you'll want to move that to a fresh part of your parchment and you'll let that dry. And then you'll want to go ahead and do a second coat on your bases. I would not recommend a second coat on the letters, on the magnetic letters, because you will probably pull that paint up. So just one thick coat on the letters and 2 coats on the bases. Once you get your bases coated with the first coat and they're dry, then go ahead and add a second coat. And you want to do it the same way as before with a very light touch. You don't want to paint real hard onto the metal because you'll pull up your first coat. So you just want to just kind of glaze just right across the surface with your paintbrush. Be very gentle. I'm basically painting in only one direction as well. I'm only painting paint down, paint down, paint down. I'm not going back and forth, back and forth. If you scrub the paint on, you'll pull up the first coat. Just laying it down real gentle. Make sure you catch all your drips, because if you don't, they'll dry and then you'll have to sand them off and repaint. Just like that. And then we'll set that to dry. All right, moving on to the fifth step is painting our beads. And this is kind of a fun step, guys. This is really easy and super fun. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna take your wreaths, your bead wreaths, and you're going to open them up. So you're gonna just open up one end with your needle nose pliers, and you're just gonna unlock one of the ends. You're just gonna fold it open. Either that, or you can just actually cut the end off, and then you're going to take your wood beads off that way. You want to lay some parchment paper down, and what we're going to do is you're going to divide your wood beads into 3 cups. So I'll go ahead and do the pink one first. So if your paint is a little thick or kind of on the dry side, you might want to add the teensiest little bit of water also. But I found that these acrylic paints, you don't really need any. And I would say probably I would start with about a half a teaspoon. And I just kind of eyeball it, and I just kind of, it's pretty much about that much paint. You can always add more. And go ahead and put your cover on the top and shake. And shake all around. And take a peek. And then you have coated beads. You guys, look at that. Pretty nifty, pretty nifty. It looks something like that. And then you'll go ahead and pour them out onto a clean parchment piece. And then just kind of give them a shake, make sure that make sure they're all coated. And it looks pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and let those dry. I'm gonna put those to the side. And you're gonna go ahead and do that with the blue and the yellow also. Exactly how we did the pink. So this is my yellow bucket. I'm gonna go ahead and add my yellow paint in there. Like I said, probably about a half a teaspoon or better. And don't forget, either get a fresh plate or clean that one off, because you don't want to mix it, because it'll muddy your color. And shake it, shake, shake. And you want to shake on all sides so it gets them all turned around in there. Shake the cup upside down. Shake it on its side. Shake it on its top. And then you got painted beads. Super cute. And then go ahead and pour them out onto a clean parchment sheet. and let them dry. And go ahead and do that to the next color. And you want to make sure that they're not touching so they can dry. You just kind of want to separate them. And every now and again, separate the beads as you go. So you can just give it a little bit of a shake, scatter them a little bit, and then let them dry some more. And we'll go ahead and do that to the yellow ones. Just kind of shake them up, let them start drying. So cute and super easy. I told you guys could do this. Super, super cute. It's much easier than trying to individually paint them, which you're more than welcome to do that also. But this is just a really simple way to paint a bunch of tiny objects. Really easy. And then I used a little bit more yellow paint than I did the pink, so I'm gonna keep my eye on this and make sure that I shake the yellow ones pretty good to let them dry. Don't let them stick together too long because they'll dry together. I'm going to do the exact same thing with the blue ones. So we're going to take our blue ones, grab our blue paint, and just pour a little bit down in there. Make sure to wipe off your plastic plate or just get a fresh plate. Because if you allow that paint to stay, you'll muddy your paint. And it might dull the color a little bit. And go ahead and shake. And it looks like this one might need a little bit more paint. I got a little bit of a bald spots in there. I might add just a touch of water too. Just a hair. I don't want to add too much, because then it'll make my paint really thin. So I'm just going to add maybe just a drop. Just a drop. And then I'll shake some more. And that looks pretty good right there. Maybe just a little bit more paint. Just a hair. Shake a little bit more. And you got blue beads. Super, super cute. Get you a fresh parchment sheet and then pour those out. Look, you guys. Oop, one's getting away. All right, and we'll shake them up. And we'll let these dry. Aren't they cute, you guys? Super easy. Really, really simple. And it makes it so much easier. We'll shake the yellow ones because we don't want those to dry together. And we'll let all of these dry. Don't forget to wipe off your plate. Just keep an eye on them. Make sure that they don't dry sticking together. Keep shaking them. They should dry pretty quickly. Well, while we're waiting for those to dry, we'll move on to step 6. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut our burlap. So you want to go ahead and get your rotary cutter and your ruler. This handy dandy ruler right here. And again, I chose to do the 6-inch wide roll of open weave burlap. You can kind of see through it. It's not real dense. And you want to make sure that your burlap is square, meaning you don't want it to be kind of on a diagonal, like kind of like that. You want to make sure that the weave is square to your cutting surface. So if it's a little bit wonky, go ahead and square it up as best as you can. And it is burlap, so it's not going to be perfect, but you want to kind of just square it up as best as you can. And then you'll go ahead and cut yourself an even squared off edge with my rotary cutter. We need to cut 9 pieces that are 2.5 inches wide by 6 inches tall. So I'm going to move mine to the edge here. And you're going to want to get pieces that look something like that. So it's 2.5 inches wide by 6 inches tall. I'm just going to cut it at the 2.5 inch mark. And you'll have a piece that looks something like that. So you'll need 9 of those. This is the burlap for the ears and letters. And then you will need 3 pieces that measure 4 3/4 by 4. You want to make sure that everything is staying square to your cutting surface. And then I'm going to cut it to 4 3/4. So it's 4 3/4 square. So you have something that looks like that. And the 4 3/4 inch square ones, these 3 pieces are going to go on the back of your boxes to cover everything in the end. So this is an optional step that you do not have to do. It just kind of makes things a little bit neater and cleaner on the back side. We're going to move on to step 7. And step 7, is a completely optional step. You do not have to do this step if you don't want to. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to speckle my wood beads, meaning that I'm going to add a little extra pizzazz, a little fleck of paint of another color onto my bead. So you can absolutely leave your bead the base color and you don't have to do this step, but I'm just going to add a little extra something so the beads will kind of look more like they'll have a little bit of a speckle to them. I don't know if you guys can see the extra little speckle paint that's on it. And it's a really simple step, but you want to make sure that your beads are close to dry, if not fully dry, and that they're not stuck together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a fairly clean cup, something that doesn't have a lot of extra paint in it, and I'm going to go ahead and add one color back into this bucket. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the opposite 2 colors, the pink and the blue, and I'm going to speckle those 2 colors onto this bead color. You're going to take just a little bit of the other 2 colors and you're just going to put it on your plate, and you're just going to make little dabs of color. And if it helps, just take one of your skewers and just kind of dab it onto the skewer. And you're just going to make little dabs of paint onto your surface, onto your plate. You don't need a lot, just a little, because you're not recoloring. You're just adding a little extra. I'm going to do the blue and the pink for the yellow. We're going to add it to our cup and shake. And then you have speckles. Isn't that cute? Oh, that one got really speckled. And clean off your plate, and we'll do that to the other set of beads. And this time we're going to add yellow and pink paint. So we'll add our blue into our bucket. Add a little bit of pink paint. And just add a little bit to our skewer and put it right on our plate. And the more paint you add, the more color you'll be adding to your bead. So if you add a lot of paint, you'll have a lot of speckle. And then shake. So cute, you guys. Look how cute those are. These are so stinking cute and so easy. Super, super easy. We'll set those to the side. Look how cute. Isn't that cute? So cute. We'll grab our pink ones. And this time we'll use yellow and blue. Add our pink beads. To our cup and shake. And you got speckles. Super easy, super cute. And we'll set that aside to dry. Look how cute. Look how cute. So cute. While we wait for those to dry, we're going to move on to step 8. And what we're going to do is take our wired jute cord and we're going to cut this into 3 equal sections. It doesn't matter really the size, as long as it's the 7.5 foot long jute cord. You just need basically 3 pieces that are about 30 inches long. 29 to 30 inches. We're going to end up cutting that down, but you can start out with that size just to make things simple. Once you cut them, you're going to take your wire cutters and you're going to measure out 30 inches and then just cut you a piece off. And then if the end frays, just add a little bit of hot glue. Just add a little bit of hot glue. And be very careful. Dollar Tree sells these really handy silicone finger protectors. So all you have to do is just add a little bit of glue and then just twist the jute onto the wire, and it kind of gives you a nice finished edge. Because again, you can make your ears as big as you want, but I made my ears about 6 inches long. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure out. You're going to take your wire, you're going to kind of straighten it out a little bit, and you're going to make a shape that looks pretty much like this. I know it looks kind of strange, but you're going to make one length about 8 inches, then you're going to bend it to 6, then you're going to bend it to 6, and then bend it back out to 8. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your ruler and you're going to put your wire down on your ruler, and you're going to start at the 1 and you're going to measure all the way out to 8 inches. And then you're going to pinch with your fingers and you're going to bring that around your finger. So you're just going to bend the wire right around your finger, just like that. And you're going to kind of bend it back down on itself. You don't want to pinch too hard. You're basically just making just kind of a U. And then you're going to measure down to the 2-inch mark. So this is 6 inches from the end to down to 2 inches. And you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to loop it around your finger and come back up. Just like that. It's wrapping around my finger and it's flat on the surface. You're going to match it. You're going to come right back up to this point. And again, you're just going to wrap it around your finger and then fold it down on itself. So you'll have something that looks a little crazy, but I promise, trust the process. So you'll have something that looks like that. And don't worry about the ends being uneven. That's no matter. If you wish, you can cut the end off to match. We'll worry about that later. So now you have something that looks kind of like an M, something like that. So now you're just going to straighten everything up. But it doesn't have to be perfect. Now you're going to take your needle nose pliers, something like this, and this Dollar Tree does sell these. And here, right at the end, right at this point, right where this will meet this, just kind of pinch it together. You're going to hold it with your needle nose pliers together. So see how it's butted up against each other? You can't see in between. And you're going to take this piece and you're going to wrap it, and you're going to go right in between these two pieces. You're going to push it right on through, and you're going to pull down. So you'll have something that looks something like that. And you're going to repeat that on this side. So now we're going to put these two pieces together, just like that. You're going to hold it with your needle nose, and you're going to hold it pretty snug. Now you're going to take this piece and you're going to wrap it right through the middle. You're going to wrap it right on through and down. So you're basically just wrapping these two pieces together. So now you have something that looks something like that. And now what you can do is stick your finger and your thumb in between those two pieces and just kind of spread those pieces open, just like that, until you have the shape of an ear that you like. So you can make them pointy, you can make them round, but you just kind of want something. I just kind of put my finger and my thumb kind of like in a shape like this, and I just set it in between those two pieces, and I just kind of push the wire open, and then you have a shape that looks like that. Now keep in mind that your piece of burlap is only 2.5 inches wide, or that's how wide mine is. So you don't want to make your ears really wide, because then you'll be too wide for your piece of burlap. So you just want to keep that piece, or keep that measurement in mind. And then you're going to do the same thing on this side. You're just going to kind of open up and then slide your finger and your thumb all the way to the top and then all the way to the bottom. And you're just going to kind of make the shape that you like. And this stuff is pretty malleable. And then you have something like that. And then I like to curl mine. Instead of a flat ear, I like to give mine a little bit of a curl. So you can just set it on your work surface, put your hand over the top, and then just kind of lift. Move it down a little bit and lift. Move it down a little bit and lift. And move it down a little bit and lift. So it creates a little bit of a curve. And we'll do the same on this side. Put it down on the flat surface, lift up a little bit, move down a little bit, lift up the base a little bit, move down a little bit, lift up, move down, and lift up. And then you have a cute curve. Isn't that cute, you guys? Super, super cute. And we'll go ahead and we'll make 2 more sets, just like this. You're more than welcome to make each set the exact same measurement, or you can make one set a little bit bigger, one set a little bit smaller. Completely up to you. I'm just going to go ahead and make the same measurement on each set. So remember, you start out with about a 30-inch piece. You'll set it down on your work surface, measure out 8 inches, fold it around your tip of your finger, go all the way down to the 2-inch mark, fold around your finger, go all the way back up so it matches the very first bend, and then bend it around your finger and come all the way back down. So you have something that looks like that crazy M, just like that. And you'll grab the very end with your needle nose pliers, just like that. You want to grab right at the base. You're going to take the short end and you're going to go right through those middle pieces. So you're going to go up and through, and then pull down, and you're going to pull pretty tight so it kind of wraps around, And then you're gonna cinch these two pieces and do the exact same thing. You're gonna go up and over and through. So it kind of wraps around on itself, and pull tight. So you have a shape that looks kind of like that. Then go ahead and make this particular shape with your finger and your thumb, and just start opening up your ears to the size that you like, the shape you like. Do that on the other side. Completely optional, however you want to make it. And then I'm going to curl mine, so I'm going to flatten it, just lift up, put it on the surface and just lift up. And then you have a shape that looks like that. Super cute. Again, no one is going to see these. These are going to get glued inside the box, so it's no worries on what this looks like. But if your twine is unraveling quite a bit, I would just add a little bit of hot glue to the ends and then just squeeze it around and hold it, just to kind of help clean up the edges a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and spread mine open a little bit. All right, now this is pretty simple. You're just gonna lay one of your 2.5 by 6 inch pieces of burlap, and I'm going to add a little bit of glue. I'm gonna add just a little bit of glue on one of the ears, just on one of the ears, one at a time. We're gonna do this one and then we'll do this one. So I'm gonna tilt it to the side so you guys can see. We're gonna add just a little bit of glue right on the curve of each twine piece, just a little bit, and then we're gonna place it down right on top of our burlap and we'll hold it. So what I'm gonna do is just add a little bit of glue right here and a little bit of glue right here, and just place it right down on your burlap and just hold it. Just let it cool for a second. And now it's attached to your ear. So now what you can do is just fold down your piece of burlap and just start working your way down to the end. So I would recommend working in sections. Just add a little bit of glue, about 1 inch or so, and then add a little bit of glue for about 1 inch or so, and then set it back down. Gently push it into the burlap just for a second, and then add a little bit more, and we're just working our way right to the end. So work a little bit more glue right to the end, right back down the other side, and just hold. Now we'll do the same on the other side. Work from the middle out. Add a little bit of glue right there. Place it down. Let it cool for a sec. And then work your way right to the end. And then tack down the rest. Make sure that you got all the ear. Everything is tacked down. And then go ahead and take your pointy scissors and then just cut the excess off. So I just go right on the outside of the burlap twine, or right on the outside of the twine, and just work my way around. I'm just cutting off the excess. And just work yourself right around. And you'll have something that looks like that. And then go ahead and do the other side. Take your other piece of burlap, lay it down. Add a little bit of glue right at the middle. You don't need a lot of glue. Set it right down on your burlap or your ribbon or your fabric, whatever it is that you are using for your ears. Let it cool and then work your way right to the end. Lay it down, let it cool for a second. I'm just pushing the wire right into the burlap. Push it right down. And flip it. And you'll work from the center to the other end. And then cut the excess off. And you'll have something that looks like that. Super cute. And go ahead and then do that to your other two pairs of ears. And now you have 3 sets of bunny ears. Aren't they cute? And super, super easy. Super cute, you guys. Super easy, super cute. And again, you don't have to use the burlap. You could absolutely use ribbon or fabric or even paper, really. You don't have to use the burlap, but that's just the look I was going for. All right, now moving on to step 9, we're gonna go ahead and make our twine bows that are at the base of each of our stands. So what you're going to do is take a little bit of twine or ribbon or whatever it is that you would like to use, and I'm just going to use my hand, and I'm going to just place the strand across my hand, and I'm going to make roughly 8 or 9 wraps. Just real easy. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we'll do 9. So what we're going to do is then just slide it off and then cut, and then we're going to take an extra long piece that I would say is better than 12 inches and then lay that across and about in the middle. And then we're going to take another short piece and just wrap right in the middle. Just wrap it right in the middle. Just go around it a couple times. I'll go around about 4 times. And then you have a bow. And just tie the back side. Easy peasy. You're just making a little basic twine bow. Just get that in the middle. Add a little bit of hot glue right on the back side so our little bow doesn't come unwrapped. Cut the excess off. And then you have a little bow, and you can squeeze the ends together, or take your bow and fluff it up, the loops, and then just pinch right in the middle and just kind of fluff it up. And then you have something that looks like that. Super cute. But right now we're just assembling it. I'm I cut my ends down just a little bit. But you'll have something that looks just like that. Super cute. And we'll need 3 of these. Again, we'll take our twine, and I'm just going to lay it across the palm of my hand, and I'm going to go around 9 times, and 9. I'm just going to have one end coming this way and one end coming this way. Just slide it off your hand, pinch it in the middle. You'll take a piece that's about 12 inches. Doesn't have to be perfect. Put that right in the middle. And you'll take a shorter piece. And you're just going to wrap right in the middle. About 3 or 4 times. Just over and over, right in the middle. And then tie it on the back side. Just a simple knot, just like so. So you have something that looks like that. Add a little bit of hot glue right on the back side. It doesn't unravel. Cut those ends off and just squeeze the loops right in the middle. Just kind of fluff them up, spread them apart, and just squeeze right in the middle. And you have a little twine bow. So cute. Simple and so stinking cute. Do one more. Just wrap right around your palm. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you have another little bow that we're going to tie. We're going to move on to the 10th step, and we're going to glue our twine onto our boxes. You guys, look how cute these are turning out. So cute. I love this paint technique. It is just so unique and so much fun. It's so festive, so cute. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Now, keep in mind that you want to make sure that the bottom stays at the bottom. So you don't want to get it all confused. So you want to make sure that the non-painted and the hole is facing you. So you want to make sure that you keep the bottom at the bottom. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our ruler and our pencil, and we're going to mark our placement for our twine. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our ruler and we're going to measure about half an inch from the edge, from this edge, and make a mark. So we're going to about a ½ inch in and just put a tiny little pencil mark. And then what we're going to do is do the same on this side. So you're going to take your ruler and measure ½ inch in and make a mark. So now you have 2 little marks, ½ an inch in. So this mark is a ½ inch from this edge, and this mark is a ½ an inch from this edge. And you're also going to want to do that at the top. So you can mark a ½ an inch right at the top, right at the corner, right at the corner, and then a ½ an inch on this side. So when you lay your twine down, you know where to lay it down. So again, this mark is a ½ an inch from this edge, and this mark, you can't hardly see it, and this mark is a ½ an inch from this edge, and then this mark is a ½ an inch from this edge, and this mark is a ½ an inch from that edge. And you're going to want to do that to this side and to this side also. Very light marks. You don't need to mark them very dark, and you want to do it right at the edge. So again, ½ an inch in, ½ an inch in, right there. And then same with this side, ½ an inch and ½ an inch. And then we'll do it on this side. ½ an inch in, ½ an inch in. It does not have to be perfect. This is just a guide for when you lay your twine down. So you can do it in a roughly in a roughly in a straight line. These are just our guides. And then you're going to do that on the other two boxes. You're going to take your twine, and you're going to take a length about 30 inches. I'm just going to roughly measure out 30 inches really quick. You're going to want to start on one of the painted sides, not in the middle. You're going to want to start on one of the sides that's next to the non-painted side. So what we're going to do is we're just going to add a little bit of glue right at our first mark, and this is where your finger protectors come in handy. So I'm going to go ahead and add our little finger protector, and you're going to add a little bit of glue right on our first mark, just a little bit. You don't need a whole lot. And you're going to add your twine, so you have something that looks like that. And then you're going to add a little bit of glue on the second mark on the same side. You're not crisscrossing, you're just adding. See this, there's a mark here and a mark here, a mark here and a mark here. You're basically just going to go straight across. You're going to add a little bit of glue on your second mark, just a little piece, just a little bit, and you're going to put your twine right in it, and then hold it down, and then you're going to work your way right across the top. Same thing, a little bit of glue on your two marks. You're going to put your twine right in it, and you're going to add glue to that dot and that dot. Just hold it for a minute. Make sure it's cool. And now we're going to just kind of make a little loop right here. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue on the underside, on the non-painted side. Just a little line of glue. I'm going to put my twine right in it. Hold my finger on it. And then I'm going to work my way right back down the other side. Add a little bit of glue in my dots. Just like that. Work your way right across the top. Add your little bit of glue and your dots. And go right down the other side. Add a little bit of glue. And then we'll glue the ends on the other side. Put a little bit of glue right there. And we'll tack down this end. And then we'll tack down this one. Add a little bit of glue. Put the twine right in the glue. And then you can cut your excess off. So now you have something that looks just like that. And you'll do that to the other two boxes. Really simple, guys. Easy peasy. Okay, guys, now that you have all of the twine on all three boxes, we will move on to step 11. Set those to the side. Now what we're going to do is we're going to glue our letters onto our three burlap pieces. So we should have 3 of our 2.5 inch by 6 inch burlap pieces. So now what we're going to do is we're going to prep these. So first off, we're going to go ahead and trim the sewn edges off. So we're going to cut those off because I'm going to fray mine. So I'm just going to cut just the sewn pieces off. I'm going to do that to all 3 pieces. And I'm gonna fray my edges just a little bit. So I'm gonna take one of my skewers and use it as a little fray tool. And I'm only gonna pull off maybe 1 or 2 strands from all 4 sides. So you just kind of just grab them and peel them right off. You guys can make it as frayed as you want to, but I'm only gonna do like roughly 2 strands to each side. So then it looks kind of something like that. And it looks like we need to cut these down just a little bit more. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim down my 6 inches a little bit more. I'd say maybe I'm gonna cut that down to, instead of 5.5 inches, I think I'm gonna make it right at 4 3/4. The same width as our boxes. You can see. I'm gonna go ahead and fray 2 strands. And we'll see if I like that. Yeah, that's much cuter. All right. And then I'll match that, the other 2 pieces. So I'm gonna cut my piece down to 4 3/4. We can glue our burlap to each of our boxes. And again, you wanna make sure that the bottom is at the bottom. So don't glue these sideways, because now we're going to be adding our letters and our burlap. So you absolutely want to make sure that you have the bottoms, you're very aware of where the bottom is. So now we're going to add our burlap. And again, I'm going to use my little handy dandy finger protector. And you're going to place it down. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball it and put it right in the middle. So I have equal spacing, just like that. And I'm going to hold one side, either the top or the bottom. I'm going to hold the top down. And I'm going to add a little bit of glue right on my box. And I'm going to push the burlap right down in that glue. And then I'm going to fold this down and add a little bit of glue. And then put that right back, just like that. Easy peasy. And you'll do that to all, and you'll do that to the other 2 boxes. And then you can decide which box is going to be H, which box is going to be O, and which box is going to be P. So I think I'm going to make this one, the P. So gently get your letters. And again, find placement, because you're going to set your letter right in the middle of the burlap you just put down. So be careful now that this paint is pretty fragile, because it's probably still drying. So you want to be very careful and not touching the surface of the paint. So I'm just going to kind of gingerly lift that up just a little bit. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue right on the back side of that H. And then place it right back down. Just be very, very careful. Very gently push it into the burlap. It doesn't take a whole lot. And you have something that looks like that. It's so cute, you guys, so cute. We'll do the O. Same thing. Set it down and find placement. See where you like it. I think that looks pretty good right there. I'm going to hold it down on one end. I'm going to lift up the other and put glue right underneath. Place it right down. Be very gentle. Just push it right into the burlap. And then I'll do the P. Glue right on the back side. Place it right back down. And then you should have something that looks like that. It's coming together, guys. Right now, we're gonna move on to making our bead sticks. And you're going to, for each box, you're going to need 3 sticks. One with 6 beads, one with 9 beads, and one with 8 beads. And you'll see why in just a few minutes. So what we're gonna do is we're going to, and you can start any bead combination or any color combination that you want. I'm just gonna start with pink. So I'm gonna take a pink bead and I'm gonna slide it onto my skewer. And these are just regular skewers that you can get at the Dollar Tree. There's nothing special about them. And you're gonna put it all the way to the end. You're gonna put a little bit of glue right at the end. And then you're gonna let the bead squish down into that glue right at the end. And you're gonna let it cool. So you're basically gluing that bead right on the end of that skewer. Just let it cool for a minute. And if you have a little bit of extra glue kind of spilling out, you can just peel that right off. And then I'm gonna build my 6 bead stick first, and I'm gonna alternate. So you guys can make it any color combination you want. You can make them all pink, all yellow, all blue, or all of one color. It's completely up to you, whatever color combination that you would like. But I'm gonna go ahead and alternate my color. So I'm gonna start with blue, or I'm gonna, that's pink. Look at me go, guys, look at me go. This is pink, and I'm gonna start out with pink. And then I'm gonna add a blue bead, and then I'm gonna add a yellow bead. And then I'm just gonna alternate. Again, pink, blue, and then yellow. And now you have a bead stick that only has 6. And that's exactly what we need for the side that has the tail. So now, lift the very last one up, and you're gonna put a little bit of glue on the second to last, and then you're gonna slide the last back down. So you're basically gluing these 2 together, and you'll see why in just a second. So I'm gonna add a little bit of glue, slide those back together and hold it until it cures. And once it cures, then you can take your wire cutters, and I got these handy dandy wire cutters at Dollar Tree, and these are really handy to cut the skewers with, because it's a pretty good size blade on it, and it cuts through these skewers pretty easily. So then now that these 2 are glued together and it won't come off, then you just cut the end off. You just cut the flush end. Just cut it flush. Just like that. And now you have a bead stick with 6 beads. Just like that. So then, to not be confusing, I'm gonna set that on the side. I'm gonna put my tail right there. So now you get to see how this is building out. The O, I'm also going to put my tail on this side instead of this side. So this side will get a stick with 6 beads. Now my P, I'm going to put the tail on this side, so this side gets the stick with 6 beads on it. So now that I made a 6 bead stick, I'm gonna go ahead and go across the top and make a 9 bead stick. And I'm just gonna continue on with my color combination. So again, I'm gonna start with pink. You're gonna glue that bead right at the base. So put a little bit of glue at the base, and then just stick your bead right down on that. Let it cool. Super easy, guys, super easy. And then just start alternating and building out. And again, you're gonna need 9. And now I have a stick with 9 beads on it, and that's gonna go across the top. just like that. So now you want to take the last bead and slide it up, put a little bit of glue on the second to last bead, and then squeeze those two beads together and let that cool. And then you can trim off your skewer. Go ahead. And I would recommend holding on to the end of the skewer, because when you go to snip it, that piece might go might go flying. Ask me how I know. So just go ahead and just hold it with your fingertips so it doesn't shoot off across the room. And now you have a stick with 9 beads. So cute. And then you're gonna go right down this side with a stick of 8. And as you can see here, we ended with yellow, so you just continue on. Start with pink. Add a little bit of glue at the end. Set the bead right down on the glue. Let it cure. And then add your beads. And now we have a stick with 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. And again, we'll slide the last one up. Put a little bit of glue in there. Close those down together. Let that cure for a little bit. Hold the end and snip off the end. And then that will go right there. And then you want to do that for the O and the P. So 6, 9, 8. The P is opposite of the H and the O. I'm going to build the top first and then build that sequence down. So I'm going to build my 9 bead stick over the top to be the same as the other 2, and then I'm going to build that sequence off of that. So I'm going to start with pink, do the exact same thing. But again, you guys can absolutely do it any which way you want. And not to be confusing, but now that this is going to be an 8 and this is a 6, I'm going to build off of this color here. So I'm going to put a yellow one here and build that sequence this way. So it's going to, instead of starting with pink, I'm going to start with yellow because pink is already there, if that makes sense. You'll see. Because if I were to start with pink, like I did with all the others, it would be pink, pink. So you don't, I didn't want to match pink to pink. So it's the same sequence, but I started this stick. So it'd be, this is the start of the stick, if that makes sense. And so when I add that, see how that continues the sequence? Because normally we would build off of this. So we'd build up and over and down. I built the top the same as this top, the same as this top. So when you're looking at it, it's the exact same. So I just, instead of starting here and going with the sequence across pink, blue, yellow across the top, I'm just building it from the top down now. It's the same sequence, but I'm just starting from the middle. See how that, so there's not two pinks next to each other. Almost done, guys. It's turning out so cute. Super easy. Told you could do it. And then that will go right there. Right, now that you're done building all of your sticks, we're going to add the sticks to the box. So what we're gonna do is you're just going to find placement. So you're gonna wanna have the left bead and the right bead kind of splitting the difference. So see how it's kind of, this side's hanging off this edge and this bead is hanging off this edge. So you're just kind of splitting the difference. You're kind of just eyeballing it right in the middle, just like that. See how it kind of goes off the edge on both sides. And that's what you're looking for. So now you just kind of roll it back. And you're going to put a bead of glue on your box right in the middle. You're going to be putting a bead of glue right in between, right down the middle between these two pieces of twine. So you're just gonna, and it doesn't have to be perfect, guys. The bead is basically going to, or your bead stick is going to be covering it up. See how much that covers? But you just want to run a bead of glue all the way down from start to finish right in the middle between these two pieces of twine. So that's why I say find your placement. You're going to put it right in the middle so that this bead hangs off this end and this bead hangs off this end. And you're just going to kind of roll that back out of the way. I'm going to run a bead of glue right down the middle. And then you're going to put your bead stick right in the middle. And you're just going to hold it. And you're just going to push down right on top of your box until that glue cures. And now you'll have something that looks a lot like that. And now this is where your other two boxes come in handy. I'm just going to lay those out, and I'm going to split them apart just so that this edge can fit the bead. This last bead can fit in between these two boxes, so that can lay flat. And again, you're going to find placement, and this bead is going to butt up against this bead. So this is the placement you're looking for. You're going to have these two beads basically touch, not necessarily on top of each other. You're just kind of have them just gently touching. And again, just find your placement and then roll this back, run your bead of glue, and then roll it right back. And then just hold it. It's coming together, guys. Super duper cute. And then you'll have something that looks like that. See how these two beads are touching, but they're not on top of each other. They're just kind of connecting right at the corner. And then we'll flip it around. And again, this bead stick now will go down in between these two boxes. So now you can lay your box flat without harming your bead stick. And then again, now you'll find placement. Lay your bead stick down to where you like it. Roll it out of the way. Run your bead of glue right down the middle. And then roll your bead stick right on top of that glue. You hold it till it dries. And you'll have something that looks like that, you guys. So cute. Ooh, it's so cute. And then you'll do the same thing on both of the O and the P. Now remember that the P and the H are the opposite. So you just want to make sure that you are putting the six bead stick where you want the side with the tail. So I want the tail on this side of my H, and I'm putting the tail on this side of my P. And the O and the H are the exact same. I'm going to put my tail on this side of my O, just like this side of my H. And again, you want to start out at the top. So you find placement. And again, you want to center it so that each of the end beads is hanging off about a half a width of the bead. Just roll it out of the way, then run your bead of glue right down the middle, and then roll it right back. Roll that bead stick right into the glue, and then hold it till it dries. And again, I'm going to put my tail on this side of this box on the O. So the H and the O both have the tail on the left side. So I'm going to put my bead stick with the 6 beads on my left side. Again, you want these 2 bead sticks touching right at the top. So I'm going to have it, find my placement, roll the bead stick away, run my bead of glue right down the middle, and then roll my bead stick right into that glue. Hold it while it cures and flip it around and do the exact same thing on this side. Find placement where these 2 beads are touching, roll it to the side, add your bead of glue right down the middle, roll it right back, and hold it till it dries. Woo, it's coming together. So cute. And now we'll do the P. Again, we'll start with the top. Around a little crooked, but that's okay. You only see it from the front. Now remember, I'm going to put my tail on the right side of the P. So I'm going to flip it or to the left so the right side is facing up. And I'm going to put my 6 bead stick on the right side. And find placement. Roll it back. Add my glue. Roll it back on top. Hold it till it dries. Flip it over. Find placement. Roll it to the side. Add some glue. And roll it right back. Now, you're just going to flip it back over to the side that has the 6 beads and grab your tails. Just put a little bit of glue right at the end, and then you're just going to place your tail right at the base of the last bead. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue right here, and then add my tail right in the middle. And hold that down. That was a lot of glue, so I'm going to let that cool for a little bit. And you'll have something that looks like that. Oh my gosh, it's coming together. It's so cute. Almost done, guys. And then you're going to do that to the other 2 boxes. We're going to add our ears. So now grab your ears and figure out which ear you want to go with which letter. It doesn't really matter. I guess I'll put this one with this one. So now what you're gonna do is these little pieces that come off, you're just going to kind of bend them so they come straight out. So you kind of have a shape like that. So it's almost like they can sit up on them, on their little feet. See that? So instead of straight down, they're gonna kind of curve out. And then you're just going to kind of find placement, make sure you can, so then you're just gonna glue them on the inside of the box. So once again, you're gonna add quite a bit of glue right on the top sides of each little foot. So add a little bit of glue, or I should say a lot of glue. And then you're just gonna push that right on the underside, right in the middle of that box. And then hold it while it cures. Something that looks kind of like that. So you're just basically gluing to the underside of the top of the box. You want to make sure all that glue dries, and you'll do that to the other two boxes. And if you find that your tails are a little bit too long, just shorten those with your wire cutters. And this, I'm gonna have to, this twine is a little bit sloppy, so I'm gonna add a little bit of glue and tidy that up a little bit. Just so it'll hold a little better. And you're just gonna basically glue them right to the underside of the O. So you'll have something that looks like that. And then you'll do that to your P. A lot of little glue strings, you want to pick those up too. And this tail is a little bit long, so I know I'm going to have to trim that one. I put a little bit of glue right on the top sides. Put that right in the middle. Coming down the wire, guys. Just a couple more steps and we are done. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and add our bases. So move the O and the P to the side for a second. We'll do the H. What we're gonna do is we're gonna add one bead to the base first. So you're going to add a bead to the base, and it doesn't matter which color, whatever one you have left. So you're going to add one bead to the base. You're going to put the base into the hole and slide the box right down. It's kind of tricky, but you're just going to add the base and flip it around. And then you're going to put another bead on top. So you're going to go base, bead, box, bead. So it doesn't matter what color. And then you're going to slide another bead down on the stem. And it's going to look something like that. So you have base, one bead. You put your box on and then add a second bead. And what you're going to do is you're going to add quite a bit of glue right at the base. You're going to put quite a bit of glue right on the inside where the stem is coming up through the box. You're going to put quite a bit of glue right there, and then you're going to push your bead down onto your box. But you want to have this on flat on the table. You want to have it flat on the table, so you don't want your box to be wonky. So if you're holding it and trying to do that, more than likely your box will dry crooked. So what you're going to do is you're going to put this all together, put a bunch of glue on there, and then place it flat on the table and push the bead. So say like, it's hard to show it on camera, So say like this is my table surface, my tabletop, this is my work surface. So say like this is sitting on my table surface. So what you're gonna do is just push really hard against the table surface. So push down on the tabletop. See how it squares the box to the table surface? So it's not gluing crooked, it's gluing square. So I'm gonna add a little bit of glue, or a lot of glue, quite a bit of glue, be pretty generous. And then you're just going to push down, see how it's square. I'm not letting the box go crooked. I'm just kind of guiding it until that glue cures. I'm pushing pretty hard down on the base. I'm just holding that bead. And then see how that holds it square then? So I'm just pushing it, I'm pushing it down. Can you guys see that? This bead here, I'm just pushing firmly down onto this base. So it keeps the bunny body square. And then move that one to the side. So we'll do the O. So grab your base, and I'll do a pink bead, and I'll add it to my box. So I have base, bead, box. I'm going to add another bead. Doesn't matter what color, because that you won't see. You're going to add quite a bit of glue right on the inside, and then you're going to push that second bead down onto the base. You're just going to push it right down. So you're going to square it up. So it doesn't glue crooked, it glues square. Put a bit of glue and then push square. Hopefully you guys can see that. See how my bunny body is square? It's not lopsided. That's why you want to make sure you use plenty of glue. Let that cure. And then you'll have something that looks like that. So then your base is glued to your bunny body. And we'll do that again. This time I want the yellow. So I'll add a yellow bead onto my base. Add the base to the box. And we'll put a bead on the inside. The inside bead does not matter what color. Add a bunch of glue right on the inside of the box. And then push that second bead towards the base. Just gonna push, push, push. Just keep pushing until that glue cures. Just keep pushing. You want to be firm, because you're basically keeping the bunny body square. And if you find that it's still a little bit sloppy, just add a little bit of glue right at the top of that. Add a little bit of glue right at the top of the inside bead and hold the body square. And that will firm it a little bit so it's not slipping around on the post. So it's not slipping around down there. It doesn't wiggle. And then you have a bunny body. Ooh, he's so cute. So cute, you guys. So cute. See how he's wobbling a little bit? He's wobbling a little bit. If you just add a little bit of glue right at the top of that inside bead, it'll firm up that space just a little bit. And see how that firmed it up? It doesn't wiggle anymore. Just like that. Take all the little glue strings off. Check your work. And I'll check my first one. And that one's holding pretty good. So now, what we'll do is we'll add our burlap backs, and we'll get our boxes back. This time we'll make a little work surface and we'll set it down on top. Now we'll take our burlap backs, 4 3/4 inch pieces. You're just basically covering up the back side of the box. So just run a bead along the bottom. First, let's find our placement and make sure everything fits. And then we'll just run a little bit of glue right along the bottom. Put that piece down. Put a little bit of glue on this side. This is completely optional. You do not have to do this step at all. This is just covering up the back side a little bit. And a little bit of glue as you go. Take off any little stringies. And now, just have a little burlap, cut the excess off, little pieces hanging off. These pieces. And that just covers up the back side. And then you have a cute little bunny. So cute. Got some glue strings going crazy over here. So we'll go ahead and do the O and the P the same way. But again, completely optional. You have a cute little pea. So cute. Oh my goodness, you guys. Last step, you guys. Last step. And it's easy, easy, easy. Need our workstation. And you'll just take the little twine bows that we made. And you'll flip this over. And you'll take your twine bow. And we're going to tie so the bow sits right at the base of the bottom bead. Just gonna set it, we're gonna tie right at the base. Just tie a little bow, need that. Just gonna tie a bow, just a regular bow, just a shoelace bow, nothing fancy. Just like that, and cut off the ends. And you guys, look how cute. Look how cute. I told you guys could do this. So stinking cute. Let's do the other two real quick. Oh my gosh, these are darling. You guys, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did. I can't wait to see what you guys have made and your versions of your little bunnies. If you want to share your hop centerpiece, please join my Facebook page, 3 Barns of Charm Craft Room. Show me what you have made with this video. I'd love to see your version of this bunny. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell everyone how to make your own 3 Barns of Charm hop centerpiece. You guys, it's so, so cute. Super easy, super affordable. And at the end, you have something that looks like this, you guys. So cute, you guys. So darling. So stinking cute. I love these so much. Wouldn't this be cute just on the kitchen table or in an entryway? So cute. You can put them next to each other, or you can stagger them a little bit so the O comes forward just a little bit. But how cute, you guys. So darling. So stinking cute. And if you liked this video, I've got more coming just like this. So Keep your eyes peeled to 3 Barns of Charm, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!